Hi, Taurus, Sun, Moon, Ascendant, or Venus. This is Dane, and I am going to be doing your Mars trine Pluto for September 6, 2021 reading for you. Now, I ask if this reading resonates with you. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. If you're interested in any of the cards that I'm using, they will all be listed and linked in the description box below. Now, before we begin this reading, let us clear the energy space, raising our own energy vibration and releasing any negativity. So take a nice deep breath in, exhaling whenever it feels comfortable for you. Releasing all negativity from the body like storm clouds. Letting yourself feel calm, centered, and at peace as we enter into this safe and loving space. Let's let the bowls sing as we see what the tarot has to say. How will Taurus be affected by Mars trine Pluto? September 6, 2021. Angels and spirit guides, show me clearly. Guide this reading and show me clearly. Angels and spirit guides, show me clearly. Guide this reading and show me clearly. Angels and spirit guides. Angels and spirit guides, show me clearly. Guide this reading and show me clearly. Angels and spirit guides. Angels and spirit guides, show me clearly. Okay, Spirit is saying put this one right here. Okay, fine. There we go. Angels and spirit guides, show me clearly. Guide this reading and show me clearly. Angels and spirit guides. Fantastic. At the bottom is our rooted self. The left-hand side is our inner self. The middle, our heart, our emotional self. The right-hand side, the public arena, the public self. So let's see what the cards have to say. We have the Empress, which is absolutely beautiful. It's birthing something forward, creativity, intensity. We have the Council of Beings, which is the Judgment card in the Rider-Waite-Smith deck. And there's just this sense of protection around us. We have the Three of Pentacles, which is absolutely beautiful. We have the two horses here and the one horse within the field. And there's just this beautiful sense of being able to move forward and of, seeing where we are, but also seeing where we were. And that moves us into the Council of Beings, into the sense of, I'm here with you and I will always be here with you, which is really gorgeous. We have the Page of Cups, which doesn't surprise me at all. This is water sign energy, Pisces, Scorpio, Cancer. So if we have water sign energy within our chart, it's coming out very profoundly within our hearts, but we're also being students of our hearts. Like, how am I feeling? How do I move forward? Where is it that I need to be? Why is it that I need to be here during this time? That's very important. And then we have the Nine of Swords. In the public arena, we're going to have a lot of doubt and fear, which actually goes against Mars trine Pluto, because Mars trine Pluto is an astoundingly intense time. This is a time where we are strong-willed and we're determined for success. And so when we have all this self-doubt coming in, all this sense of, well, I messed up before, and how can I possibly get to where it is that I need to be, and I can't believe I'm making that mistake again, and I can't believe I'm doing this, following this pattern all over again. Stop the mental patterns of doubts and hurts and pains, which sounds so easy to say and is so incredibly hard to do. But with Mars trine Pluto, what Mars is going to do at this time is it's going to act on Pluto's evolutionary drive for healing, transformation, and rebuilding. It's going to say, let me see you. And at this time, Pisces, we might say, at this time, Pisces, because of the energy right here. And I just do feel this beautiful kind of sense of healing, sense of becoming, which leads us to a strong Pisces energy. But at this time, Taurus, there is such a strong sense of, don't fall into doubt and fear. And that's what Pisces does. That's why Spirit has us say it, because when Pisces, one of Pisces' things, hurdles to overcome within this life is to not fall into fear, and is to not let fear rule them. And that's going to be one of the greatest things for us in the public arena, is not to let fear rule us, not to let ourselves fall prey to it. And so as we're moving with this beautiful Pluto energy of healing and rebirth and, reclaiming and transforming our lives, we have the warrior of Mars coming forward and saying, that's it, let's keep going. Let's keep, building and seeing. And the battle isn't done. Actually, the battle has just begun, and we're just beginning to see the way that we can move forward, the way that we can kind of conquer this world, but not in a way that the ego takes over. We have to be mindful of that during this time, because there is such a beautiful drive to us that we can leave the ego behind, it seems almost completely, to be able just focusing on the thrill of success, the thrill of bounty, which you might say, well, that's the ego in and of itself. No, the ego is transcended when we can look at things and say, it's not all about me. It's not all about the self. It's not all about what I need and how I need people to perceive me. It's about the creation of this time. And that's going to lead us to a place that is astounding, Taurus, and that's coming through very, very strongly for you. Now, this is a time where we can easily express our desires, our passions, our wants, and work towards transforming these energies into the waking world, into higher energy vibrations that elevate us up within the arena that we stand in. And that leads us from fear, that leads us from doubt, that leads us from hurt. And it brings us here with Mars trine Pluto. It brings us to a time of bringing about change. And it brings us into focus with ourselves, with what we want. It's kind of like, I lost me and now I found me again. And this is a time where we say, oh, wow, I forgot I liked this so much. It's kind of like when we eat a food that we forgot that we liked, or we watch a TV show that we forgot that we liked. And it's like, oh, wow, I forgot how much I enjoyed this. And then it brings everything back into focus, and it helps us realize our purpose, our desires, our wants, and our needs. There is an aura around us that emanates sexuality, sensuality. It emanates power and passion. And that for us, Taurus, is almost like coming home. If we can embrace the sensual, if we can embrace the power and the quality of life and be able to say, this is the purpose of why I'm here, that's our everything. It seems like we can spend our whole lifetime searching for that. And so that comes forward and we're creating it. And that's why the Empress is right here. So let's look at the energy we need to be mindful of during this time. What is the energy that Taurus needs to be mindful of? Angels and spirit guides, show me clearly. That is the King of Pentacles. Now that can simply be us. We have to be mindful not to get in our own way, not to get in our own heads, which is coming up in the public arena. But we also have to be mindful not to kind of boil everything down to how prosperous it can be. How much is it moving us forward, serving us in the greater scheme that we have for ourselves? Where is it that we want to be and why? We're going to see ourselves greatly attracted to people who are very goal-oriented, and there's nothing wrong with that. But when they make their goals their whole entire lives and nothing else, that's when we kind of have to sit back and say, that's not a life. That's a check sheet. That's to-do lists. And so here we need to say, what do I want to do with my life? And not making it a to-do list of everything that I need to get done in the age and the time that it needs to be done in. But to say, how do I want to experience this life for me? This power, this beauty, and this success. And it moves us then to our chakra energy. Angels and spirit guides, show me clearly. Guide this reading and show me clearly, angels and spirit guides. Peace. This is the crown chakra. During this time, we want to be crowned with peace, with harmony, with acceptance of self, with love, with triumph. And this is the visualizing exercise of putting the crown upon our heads and saying, I embrace peace. I am crowned by peace. I am honored by peace. And I am guided by peace. And that elevates us in our world so profoundly and so beautifully. And it brings us to the Empress. It brings us to being able to birth forward something gorgeous, being able to create something intensely beautiful for us, being able to say, this is what I want for my life, because this is who I am. This is what I've been working towards. Now, this can be a time where we're literally giving birth, or we find out that we're pregnant, or something to that extent. But this is also the time of our creative energy within us coming forth, being birthed forth from us. And it's like, oh, this is the purpose, right? This makes everything so clear. You know, when you have a kid and you, all of a sudden it's like, oh, well, that's why. You know, it's kind of like, oh, that's why I exist. Like that type of thing. Like, oh, that person needs me. And not always like that, because you think, you know, I had a whole life before you came, and everything like that can come into play too. But with this creative energy coming forward, we have those same reactions. It's like, oh, this is why. And then the frustration in the sense of, you don't get to rule my life type of thing. I get to rule my own, but we get to be ruled by creation, and creation gets to raise us forward in our energy vibration and gets us to see what we desire and see what we need and see who we are. And it brings us to the three of earth. It brings us from this beautiful place of claiming our power and claiming a throne we never knew we lost, and claiming a voice we didn't realize was silenced in one way or another. And with the three of earth right here, it's like, I know I am of this earth. I know that there is a way to move forward, and that there is a connection to drive me and guide me, and that I am opening up the door honestly and powerfully and personally. And as we do this, the council of beings, of all beings, comes into play. I do not stand alone. We do not stand alone, Taurus. And we are not meant to. This is a time where we are connecting. This is a time where we are seeing. And this is a time where it almost feels like we're just a little bit lucky, a little bit blessed, a little bit powerful. And we have the weight of our ancestors behind us. And not the ancestors of our ancestral line, the ancestors of humanity, and the ancestors of the earth. So it doesn't even have to be all human. You know, it could be the birds and the bison and, you know, the trees. It's the energy of existence behind us, guiding us, connecting us, grounding us. To know that as we embrace this vibrational power, as we see ourselves openly and honestly and tenaciously, personally, we know that we're not alone in this. And it brings us then to the Page of Cups. We become a student of our hearts and our desires and where we want to be. I really do feel within the heart, for some reason, Pisces energy comes up so strongly here. And it's like, because we go into the public arena and there's fear, and it's like, don't be the student of fear, be the student of the way the heart wants to move forward, of what we want to develop, of who we say we are, and how we try to live that. The Page of Cups gives us wisdom in the most unlikely of places, from the most unlikely of spaces. And we start to claim our voice and our desires and our insights more and more and more, as we claim ourselves more. It leads us to, as we discover our hearts more, you know, there's just that in this fear. It's almost like we get to the public arena and it's like crickets. It's like, oh, can I do this? I don't think so. I don't think I want to. You know, it's a bit much. I'll be ready next week, you know, type of deal. But we have to harness this energy on the 6th of September, because that's when it is. And so embracing ourselves and our power and our intuition and our desire, embracing the fact that we will be afraid, and letting that humanity show, because no compassion is ever gotten through being absolutely confident and absolutely brilliant at everything right off the gate. Those who are the most compassionate are the ones who have experienced life, the ones who have been broken and rebuilt again. And so we look at our fears, and instead of saying, you know what, I won't let you rule me, you know, you don't get to have any control over me, we say, I see you. I see you for the imposter that you are. I see you also for the fight or flight, you know, instinctual response that's built into me. And I don't know. We don't know as human beings with our modern world how to deal with all the stresses that can't be fought or can't be run from. You know, our stresses as we were developing as humans were, you know, not to be eaten and to be able to run down prey and not to eat poison things. So when we have these kind of abstract stresses of the earth coming forward now, of our existence coming forward now, it's like, how do I fight this? During this time, it's like, I don't fight it. I create from it. I take the chaos and I start to pull out the chords. It's kind of like chaotic music, but we start to pull out the chords. It's like when you're trying to make something beautiful, whether it be music or a drawing or, you know, writing or, you know, whatever. And you pull out the chaos. You start to untangle the chaos. You start to see how your mind works in interpreting this. And then you start to move forward and say, oh, I see it. I see how the pieces fall together. And it's not because you ran away from the chaos. It's because you said, okay, this is the chaos. You know, this is the chaos of my brain. It might not be a neurotypical brain. It might be a brain that needs to look at things a bit differently. It can be that, okay, I have, triggers with this thing, or, stresses around that thing, and I have to be very mindful of this during this time. Whatever it is that we look at things and say, okay, it's a unique way that I have to handle this, but it's a unique way that I am unraveling the fear that has held me for way too long. It brings us to our subconscious energy to be mindful of. And that's the Queen of Swords. Using words as our weapons, that's going to be something to be mindful of. That we can get a little bit haughty with a sense of, well, it has to just be done in a certain way. But we're also going to be very drawn to people who have this very certain way of doing things. And so stepping back is going to be so important for us during this time. And not letting other people's words wound us in a way that maybe they mean to, but more often than not, they're not going to mean it. They're just going to be so in their own headspace that they're not going to realize that their words weren't appropriate. So just be mindful of that. It moves us to our subconscious chakra energy, which is relationships, the sacral chakra. Now, the sacral chakra is one of my favorite chakras because it's complex. It's where our creative energy is held. It's where our sexual energy is held, which is great. You would think like, okay, best chakra energy ever. But it's also where all our trauma and drama is held from this life and past lives, which makes things a bit messy. And so here, when we're looking at relationships, we're not only looking at our relationships with others, we're looking at the relationship that we're having with ourselves, the relationship that we're having with our past selves or our trauma selves, or, however we want to see it, with our family line self, our ancestral self. And now we're starting to heal that relationship. And we're starting to be able to say, I love me, I see me, I honor me, I respect me. And it brings us to a place of creation. It brings us to a place of determination. And it moves us to our rooted energy, which is the Fool, the subconscious rooted energy, as the Fool that is saying here, move forward. Move forward and go after. Take the route that is considered foolish. Because remember, every single hero's journey starts with the hero being a fool. Starts with everybody laughing, going, you can't slay that monster. I always think of Perseus when I think of this, where he goes out to slay Medusa, and everybody laughs. It's like, what the heck? You're a boy. You're going to slay this monster that has turned to stone the greatest of men. And who are you? But he succeeded. And that's the thing. People say, why you? And instead of saying, oh yeah, why? Say, why not? Go down the different path. Because everybody who's walking in that way like sheep, do you see them being tremendously happy? Do you see them having all the answers and all the success and all the beauty and being totally in love with their lives? Especially in the quiet moments where nobody is watching. I can tell you with a lot of certainty, there's not a lot of happiness there. It moves us to our subconscious inner self. And that's the Witch of Fire. Fire sign energy, Aries, Leo, Sagittarius. Fire determination as, we embrace our kingly self. We embrace our determined force here to say, this is me. This is the fire that I have within my soul, within myself. This is the way that I move me forward. This is how I see me and how I honor me and how I need to be within my life. And as the Witch of Fire comes forward, she embraces her flame. She says, I do not need to be the fire that consumes and, destroys. I can also be the fire that warms and cooks and is the center of human existence, where people still to this day laugh around the fire. It brings us to our subconscious emotional self. That's the Wheel of Fortune. Everything's changing. Everything's changing. And as we enter into this new season, we enter into this new understanding, new focus, new beauty, new brilliance of self and desire. But we can feel like our hearts are on a bit of a roller coaster ride. It leads us to our subconscious public self. And that's the 9 of Wands. The repeat of the number 9 here. We've come to the end. We're coming to the end of a cycle. And we know it. That's why all the fears can come forward. The 9 of Wands is also saying, don't listen to everybody. Everybody, has something to say, yeah. But not everybody is worth listening to. And this is a time to not let other people's words beat down your own intuition, your own passion, your own desire, your own focus, your own brilliance. All right, Taurus. I hope this reading has resonated with you. I wish you nothing but light, love, peace, and happiness. May harmony always be with you. I am sending loving, healing energy to each and every one of you. I love you all, and stay safe. Let's end this reading with a meditation, a clearing away of negative energy, a raising of our positive energy as we embrace this Mars trine Pluto. So take a nice deep breath in, exhaling whenever it feels comfortable for you. May you move forward in peace and in harmony, Taurus.